Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Erich Show. That's right, we're here to talk about cybersecurity stuff, kind of the interesting stories, or sometimes the ones that matter. Oftentimes, it's just the most interesting things we've seen during the week. Now, we have a special guest here today, and we'll talk about that again.
Welcome to the Erich Show, featuring your hosts Javad Malik and Erich Krohn. Timely topics, poorly presented.
Okay, so ignore that part about Javad Malik. Once again, he had better things to do or something. I don't know what all these are about, but in his place is somebody who was extremely popular last week. People loved him and want to see him again. So I bring back to you Mr. James McQuiggan. How's it going, James?
It's going well, Eric. Good to see you. Thanks for having me back. Appreciate it. And thanks to all the fans out there that called me back.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, we had a good show last week. Yeah. The beauty is, again, it lines up. It used to be the Javad and Erich show, hence Erich. Now it can be the James and Erich show. We don't even have to change the branding. I mean, come on, this is perfect, man.
Just that picture in the at the
opening. We'll have to come up with something there with the opening there. But anyway, so here we are talking about the world of the cybers again. We're rolling into the beginning of the year, and I swear, what is it? It's the 12th. It's January 12th.
Yep.
And oh man, it already feels like it's been a long year. I don't know. I don't know about you, but I think as I get older, like time just accelerates. So I feel like it was just New Year's Eve, and it's already the 12th, and we've already had some interesting stories out there. Dear Lord, what is this year going to hold for us?
I think like with any other year, it's, we get through the holiday season, we come back into the new year and we're all ready to go. And by day 12, we're like, oh, forget it. I mean, New Year's resolutions. Yeah, we are now entering the time where people are like, yeah, no, I'm done with the New Year's resolution. Forget it. My New Year's resolution though, I'm striving for a 2560 by 1920 pixels. That's my resolution. So there you go.
God. Oh, geez. I'm sorry for that, folks. James is known for his dad jokes. No, I decided this year I was going to take my New Year's resolution, which is to get in better shape, and just ignore it to begin with. So I don't even try to throw that out there to mess with people. Right? This is just going to be what it is and how it is.
There you go.
No, it's the resolutions are great, but yeah, gotta love it. Okay, hashtag McQuiggan.
All right,
Chastity. All right, nice. So, anyways, we're gonna talk a little bit about some stories today, some exciting stuff happening. So let's get rolling on that right now. First of all, I thought this was interesting. And James, you have a little bit of background in this sort of thing, which is always kind of the fun stuff around here. But states in Congress wrestle with a cybersecurity after Iran attacks a Pittsburgh-area water authority. Wow, this is another one of these going after the industrial control systems, right?
Yeah, exactly. We look at water treatment facilities, chemical, energy, they're all considered, or mobility, all considered, the critical infrastructure for us here in the United States, or, any country for that matter. And going, having a nation state going after the small water treatment facilities, we think back a couple of years, we had that one that was here in Florida, which turned out to kind of not be an actual attack, but a screw up. But now we're getting real with this, and it's, when they're going after the water, we need water to survive. And if, they shut it down or cause some damage, destruction, or disabling it, it's going to represent a lot of problems. And with 50,000 different water treatment facilities here in the United States, this isn't something that, we can just kind of glaze over and go, okay, yeah, no, they didn't really cause a lot of problems. But, when these facilities are trying to get funds themselves to be able to keep the treatment plant running and keep the pipes up to date, and all that, when they now drop on, hey, you got to do some cybersecurity, or maybe we need some government regulations. And we've seen government regulations inside the electricity industry with NERC, which is kind of what my wheelhouse was for a number of years back in my days of working at Siemens.
Oh, okay.
Working there. But there needs to be something there as well, but also we need the funds to be able to, secure those. And it's not, security is not cheap. You know it. I know it. We've been in there, and everybody listening knows it. But one of the things I thought was really, really cool, and shout out to Dragos. I know Rob Lee. I've known him for a number of years. Not as well as I can pick up the phone and call him, but we've shared a drink or two over the years. But Dragos went in and offered a lot of support, cybersecurity support, to address a lot of the vulnerabilities, weaknesses they had. They secured about 30 of the water treatment facilities for like $2 million.
Nice.
If you think about it, all right, we got 50,000. You do the math real quick. We'll ask ChatGPT, right? No, but go through, you figure about $3.5 billion based on that calculation. Now it probably might be more, but even still, $3.5 billion to secure our water treatment facilities to, at least a level that we can feel safer about it. Money that needs to be spent overall. But it's unfortunate this actually happened, but we want to address this as a critical issue and get this resolved.
Oh yeah, 100%. And hold on a sec. You'll love this.
Hang on, let me get off my soapbox.
From our LinkedIn user. I can't believe I actually laughed out loud for that one. Yeah. I'm sorry for those. And just the hashtag dad jokes. Beautiful. Yeah, it was interesting in this one. And I'm going to flip back up here towards the top. I thought it was kind of interesting. The rationale that they had is that it was targeted because the equipment was Israeli made. Now, it's funny how the geopolitics kind of play into cyber as well. And, here we are minding our own business over here, fat, dumb, and happy. And we're getting attacked because of some of this equipment. And in all honesty, there's probably not a whole lot of places that some of this equipment comes from, right? It's probably a fairly limited pool of suppliers, as I understand it, in the ICS side of things. So it's not surprising that this kind of stuff goes out there.
And when you think about the geopolitical aspect of it, that Iran particularly going after Israeli equipment. Yeah, I mean, we can look back to Stuxnet all the way back 14 years ago. That was targeted against specific equipment as well. So yeah, the cyber war continues, and it's not just, cyber warfare of data theft or money. No, we're talking, going after critical infrastructure.
Yeah, and let's keep in mind, it's not just water. We're talking about electric. Right. We're talking about gas. We're talking about all of those other sorts of things that kind of keep us going. Mm-hmm. And this, honestly, James, is why I'm putting on my tinfoil hat. We're building our little, off-grid-ish sort of homestead, and I'm going to dig a moat around it and let it fill with alligators and probably, keep people away.
Yeah,
that's coming up. Let's see. We got a couple more comments. First of all, here's a lovely one. Sorry for bothering you. I want to offer a no, please. No, stop. Come on, dude. Really? Seriously? All right. And then, okay. Yeah. From Kathy Chambers, survey last year, 70%. Yeah. Yeah. You know what?
That's 3 full-time people dedicated to IT cybersecurity.
Yeah. And that's a problem. I mean, James, I do a lot of talks for city, states, municipalities. Mm-hmm. Like, that's one of the things I really am passionate for, because there's like 2 or 3 people trying to keep the wheels on the wagon while it's on fire, going down a hill. There's no support for them, right? There's no budget. There's no people. When they go to hire, they unfortunately end up putting out recs that are way below what the average person could do. So it's very hard to be competitive in those spaces. And my heart really goes out to these folks. I mean it sincerely. Like, one of the guys I worked with when I first got into IT and security back in the 1990s,
last century. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, late 1990s. Well, no, anyways, He he went on to work at one of the local municipalities, and the stories I've always heard from him has just been brutal.
Yep.
So, anyways, hopefully we can do better on this, folks.
It's going to take a lot. I mean, this is just a little bit of it, but there's a larger issue at
it is
got here.
And we got to remember this is serious stuff, man. So speaking of serious stuff, yeah, did you see this one?
Certik, I did. Again?
Yeah, so this is another one of those things, and I find it interesting how often this crap goes back to somebody pushing some crypto garbage, right? Like they take over all these accounts and start trying to get people to go sign up for this wallet or that wallet. I mean, there's big money involved in here. There's lots of money in the crypto side. But for this security firm, unfortunately, to have their Twitter X-ish account taken over, and once again had somebody throwing around some stuff about crypto. It's whoa, hey, that's interesting. My camera just went away, folks. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you haven't looked better and all before, Eric.
I know. What did you do, James? it was happy here for a while.
I was gonna say Javad's coming through and hacked his way in.
Well, for those of you listening to the podcast version of this means nothing to you whatsoever.
Well,
but the video, it's gone. So now James is now front and center.
All right,
we'll kick off again. Nope, not going to happen.
All right, well, you fix it, and I'll add in my 2 cents here.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, and it was interesting because this was brought up this morning of another similar incident over on Simply Cyber, our good buddy Jerry Ozier, who you got to meet at DEF CON last year.
Yeah.
We were talking about that with regards to the issues dealing with Mandiant and a lot of other companies. And so, I believe there was a change recently to the MFA program, or the way MFA was done in Twitter. And you had some folks that were trying to transition and change and whatever. And here we go again, where, we got to look at how organizations are going to deal with external communications on things like Facebook and social media, X/Twitter, whatever, and having those extra layers. We know there needs to be MFA. And I know, when you ask around and talk to other organizations, it's like, yeah, no, we've got MFA, but, is there sometime that issue of the shared accounts? And I think we even talked about it last week as well on the show. We had another organization dealing with it. But I think overall, Certik acted quickly, which was good, because you got to have that quick response. So it seems that this was not new to them. They, had maybe practiced this, or they had discussed it and gone through and had, response strategies for their different assets, like this, or whether it's an email server or whatever. But, with these kind of platforms where information can spread quickly, good, bad, or indifferent, you want to be able to react quickly and resolve and take down and fix and put back up as quickly as possible. But hey, there he is.
There they are.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
I knew you didn't have a face.
Were you running out of words, James? Is that
I can never run out of words
on this rather
I
short
go for days.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's true. We really got to work on our on securing things like our social media accounts. We oftentimes, and I hear this all the time with organizations, they're like, man, it's just a Twitter account, right? And then it turns out that it's used for something like this, for scamming folks or whatever, and you really don't want to be the poster child for somebody that got scammed out of a bunch of money in some crypto crap like this. And crypto obviously is an incredibly popular topic these days. And now we got the ETFs are floating around. I think those went live on the stock exchange. So we're going to see more and more of this kind of stuff, just trying to push whatever wares they seem to have. So be careful anytime anyone's talking about crypto stuff, because there's a 92.4% chance it's a little shady around some area. And speaking of shady, let's move into our next story here. Yeah. Apple agrees to settle a lawsuit over iTunes gift card scams. What do you think of this story, James?
We've talked for years regarding gift card scams,
Yeah.
and we've got organizations now creating policies that say your CEO, your manager will not ask you to go and buy Apple gift cards or Amazon gift cards.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing out of this for me was, yeah, we've been dealing with scams like this for years. But Apple settling the lawsuit on this was interesting for me because it's like, okay, you knew this was going on and you still pocketed 30% of the money from the scammers and letting them walk away. So they got their hand slapped on this one. And I say a hand slap because, I'm sure the money they're going to be paying out isn't, it's going to be, a small sploosh in the bucket, we'll say. It won't be a drop. But companies like Apple, these tech companies where cyber criminals are scamming off of them. So whether it's Apple, Facebook, whatever, they need to take proper steps to make sure and protect against these scams. Now, I do know on the back of the Apple gift cards, it says, don't give away this code to somebody you don't know. But, even still, we've got, you think of the guy when it comes to smoking and guns, right? For years they put labels on the side of the cigarettes that says smoking can cause problems in pregnancy and in your health and lung cancer and blah blah blah. People still did it. We have to have more consumer awareness, more training out there, more education. We need Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool doing a commercial of, telling people not to fall for scams with Amazon and Apple. I don't know, but it's good to see Apple stepping up to this. Yeah, they, you get your hands
because they had to, right?
Corporate ethics. Yeah, because they were fighting it. They were fighting it last year. But they had to pay.
I think it's interesting because I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of ignorant to how this worked, where they would end up getting 30% off the top of this. I mean, why would they, what do? They have these gift cards. And my understanding was always like, they go, well, the gift card is the gift card. It's as good as cash. It's practically a digital bearer bond at that point. So I don't honestly understand where this 30% is coming from, where they deposited like 70%
unless they knew
accounts, or but how do you move money from an iTunes gift card to a bank account? That's something I don't understand. So if one of our listeners happens to know this, I would love to hear a little bit more about this. I do find it interesting and I want to look into this a little bit more. Do you know something?
I thought it was something where they were they were using the iTunes gift card to buy something from Apple and then returning it and getting cash. That's the only way I could see it. Or maybe they were using it
stocking or something.
They were using it to then transfer to other funds or other gift cards and then getting that for cash. I remember years ago hearing about that. Yeah.
I know there's services you can buy using gift cards, right? Like for example, I think private internet access, the VPN companies, some of those do it where you can do, an Amazon gift card, you get like whatever percentage. It's not dollar for dollar, but they end up taking those and doing whatever it is they're going to do with them. So those are out there. But I am curious about this. I thought this was an interesting story. I thought that given, like you said in the beginning, how often we see iTunes gift cards being a target for people to pay for these things, to pay for these scams, to pay for whatever, it's that and Amazon gift cards I hear about quite a bit as well, being used, so then the IRS won't arrest you, and that, right? They're going to contact you and you need to get those iTunes gift cards to them before they arrest you for whatever it is that you're supposed to be having done there. But no, this is an interesting one to look at. I recommend we maybe look into it a little bit more. I'd like to know a little bit more about this, but I find that quite interesting. And speaking of scammers, let's go into our final story today. This was an interesting one. We travel all over the place. And I don't know about you, but in the past, I have lost luggage. It does happen, right? These things happen. Now I throw an air tag in my luggage, so I know where it's at most of the time. Thank you, technology. We're in this world. But can you imagine finding out that your lost luggage was being sold for $9.95? Well, some scammers decided to pop up this little deal here, and and make this look like O'Hare Airport was selling the luggage that's been in store that somebody has apparently, like left behind or whatever. And they're selling this stuff or trying to sell this stuff,
Right.
scamming people with it. What do you think about this, James?
Yeah, I mean, scroll back down to the image again, and you can see somebody's certainly taken a picture of luggage that's been offloaded of the belts, and then superimposed. Really, it's a decent job, but it's superimposed the sign, and probably that may have been a sign there, and it said whatever, and they just put in their O'Hare. And right out of the gate, I mean, there's a lot of red flags here. The fact that you've got a dollar sign at the end of the $9.95. Usually we in the US, it's, in Canada, it's the dollar signs on the left. So there's a lot of flags there. And even in the Facebook ad, people were going, is this real? Is this legit? $10 is like, okay, I can, I'll buy some luggage for $10 because what's in luggage? Clothes and might be some, liquor. You never know. It's like, woohoo, it's a bargain for $10.
Yeah, a lot of times some small electronics here and there.
And it's not a lot of money that you're going to go, oh, okay. Yeah, no, if they were selling it for $50, yeah, they wouldn't get anybody, but for 10, sure. But it just kind of drives the point that we've got to have a little healthy level of skepticism. Polite paranoia is another fun term out there for it. But, we're seeing scam after scam after scam, and people's mindset, or not everybody's, but we see that because these work, but most people's mindset is, well, if it's on the internet, it's got to be true. And it's like, oh, look, they're selling it for $10. We can get luggage, or there's my piece of luggage, or you're able to scroll through and go, that's what my suitcase was. And they lost it. And, then you end up, looking to it. But, through social media, again, here's the tech companies, providing a service, and it's being manipulated and abused. And so we have to turn to the tech companies to go, can you stop this? Can you're overseeing all this. What can be done to help slow this or stop this or verify that this is a legit ad and get rid of it? But then at the same time, educating the public and going, yeah, no, this isn't legit.
Yeah. 100%. It's interesting. You see these follow-ups by the scammers here. I decided to gamble and receive my suit. They go in and they do this all the time to try to make it look good, and I've seen this in lots of different scams. There's some with like Harbor Freight tools that go out there and they have people going, oh, I received it, and it's been a deal for like a day. You're like, yeah, there's no way you would have ever received that in time. Now, the interesting thing about this is, at least for me, I know I've heard stories about places that are legitimately getting this kind of luggage from airports and selling it in stores. It is a legitimate market out there on some of this stuff, right? So they're working on that seed of truth, I think, that kind of gets people, they've heard of something like that, and so it legitimizes it a little bit more. But this isn't how this works, right? They sell it to a vendor who buys a bunch of these things. It's kind of like the Amazon return stuff, right? They buy a skid of this stuff, a couple pallets or whatever, and then they figure out what the hell's in it and sell it, right?
Sell it off for $10 or $20 or whatever.
Yeah. And so there are legitimate things that are similar to this, but there's always that little nugget of truth that they use to expand on, to make it a little bit different. So, yeah. Interesting times that we live in, James. So, and here's back to our Apple stuff. Michael F saying, I thought the 30% was taken from the Apple developers sellers profit. So interesting to thing to look at and think about there. So
definitely.
Anyways, again, folks, if you like this, especially if you're on like YouTube, I mean, we blast this out to LinkedIn, to YouTube, to Twitch, and pretty much everybody we can throw it out there. But if you have a way of liking and subscribing, we would really appreciate that. We try to do this every week. Not usually with James, but I don't know, man. It's going pretty well. Yeah, I'll tell you.
Why it's a coincidence? 3 times a pattern.
Yeah, I'm kind of liking the way this is playing out. So given that, we try to keep it around 25, 30 minutes. We don't want to go too long. So James, is there anything you have to say to kind of wrap things up today?
Well, I know that a lot of folks are dealing with winter. I mean, we've had some really bad storms coming through, and I know that it gets frustrating. But if you ever see a snowman throwing a temper tantrum, just be careful. He's having a meltdown.
And with that, wow. My apologies for that, folks. I just, that may be the thing that puts us back to going to Javad. At least we're safe from that kind of stuff. But anyways, thanks for joining us. Check us out, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone.